Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 7-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, I would greatly appreciate that. YouTube continues to tell me about 60% of my audience is not subscribed, so if that's you and you're enjoying this content, if you could just take 1 second to do that, that would be great, and I will be here all NBA season long breaking down these NBA DFS slates to help you guys win some money, help give you some free advice. And if you are interested in some further content from me, I do offer an NBA DFS package linked below in the description, so go ahead and check that out. You get access to my premium projections, NBA data sheet, a whole bunch of different tools to help you win some money night in and night out, as well as my core plays, and be able to ask me questions all the way up until lock in the Discord chat or on Google Sheets where my tools are featured. So check that out, link below in the description. And then don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my lock of the night. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. First game on the slate, we got Cleveland taking on Philadelphia. Joel Embiid continues to be listed as out in this one. This game comes in with a 213.5 over-under with a 8-point spread in favor of the Philadelphia 76ers. So expect it to be a pretty slow-paced game. With Joel Embiid being out, Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris continue to be the biggest beneficiaries as far as usage is concerned. Ben Simmons continues to be very underwhelming, very bad, and honestly, I feel really confident saying just don't play him. Eventually, he should have a big game, and he does have a pretty good background playing against this particular Cleveland team, but I'll continue to play Tobias Harris. And then on the Cleveland side, there is no Larry Nance Jr., there is no Jarrett Allen, so that should open up some more minutes and or usage for guys like Dean Wade and Chetty Osman on the wings. So both these guys become much more viable plays. Keep an eye on who the Cleveland Cavaliers decide to start in this one, because that's going to be pretty relevant. But Colin Sexton and Darius Garland, I will say, are going to be the two that are going to lead this team in usage, and they both do make the most sense as far as who I'm looking to the most in this one. So definitely wouldn't have an issue with playing either of these guys. If this game's going to stay close, it is going to be because of them. So I have no issue with playing Darius Garland and or Colin Sexton in this one. And overall, that's pretty much everyone I'd be looking to. You can play Dwight Howard at 5'6". He's a guy that I was hoping was going to get more minutes now that he's the full-time starting center type of deal, with there being no Joel Embiid. Continues to see around like 20 minutes, so just buyer beware there. Hopefully he gets more minutes eventually, and I do think he's still a pretty decent play. He's probably going to grade out pretty good in my projections. It's a matter of if he can get up to 25, 26, 27 minutes instead of 20 minutes. So Washington taking on Detroit, second game on the slate. Right now this game comes in with a 2.5-point spread in favor of the Washington Wizards. There is no over-under release yet. Bradley Beal continues to be listed as questionable in this one. If he does indeed continue to be out, Jerome Robinson will probably continue to start, and Russell Westbrook will continue to be an absolute beast of a play. Will be regardless of whether Beal's in or out, but if Beal's out, I mean, this guy's numbers recently have just been absolutely ridiculous. He put up that 94.5 DraftKings point performance, and then last time out put up 69.75, so don't see him slowing down anytime soon. Russell Westbrook is on a mission right now, and this Detroit side does not scare me defensively, so I'm going to continue to like him. Of course, I'm going to like him a lot more if there is no Bradley Beal, so just be aware of that. I mean, he's still a great play at 11K, but he is 11K. He's got to get there. He's going to have a huge game. And if Bradley Beal comes back, that's going to lower his odds of actually having that big game. So Rui Hachimura at 6'8", continue to see a bunch of minutes as well. Great play, continuing to see like 40 fantasy points consistently. The problem is he was priced at 6K, now he's up to 6'8", so that's a little bit of a price hike, a little bit of a bump. So, you know, he's going to have to perform the way he's been performing, and if he has a little bit of a letdown based upon his price tag now, that's going to be a lot more relevant than it was. Jeremiah Grant, Mason Plumlee, Sadiq Bey on the Detroit side continue to see the bulk of the minutes. Jeremiah Grant putting up 47.5 DraftKings points last time out, taking on that Portland squad. And the Washington squad's a great matchup as well, so definitely have some interest in him. Mason Plumlee, Sadiq Bey, same rule applies to them at 6K and 5'7". These are the guys that are really seeing starting minutes, and I'm not too worried about their minutes getting cut into by other guys, compared to guys like Josh Jackson and Diallo. These guys not quite as big in their minutes, so Charlotte taking on Brooklyn. James Harden is listed as questionable in this one. This game comes in right now with a 3.5-point spread. There is no over-under released. I'm guessing that when the over-under is released, this is going to be a very high total. And James Harden had to leave the game and did not return last time out, so I'm assuming that he is going to be out in this one. And if he is, that's going to make Kyrie Irving a tremendous play at 9.8. Put up 60 DraftKings points last time out, and I think that he has room for much more upside if there is no James Harden. This guy could literally go out there and put up, 60, 70 plus. And at only at 9.8, that's comparative to Russell Westbrook's upside oftentimes, and he's a lot cheaper. So I will say that if Bradley Beal continues to be out, I would have a lot of interest in playing Westbrook and Kyrie Irving if possible. Kyrie Irving, it can be played as a shooting guard, so I would definitely highly recommend doing that if it's all possible to fit those guys in. And then, of course, with there being no James Harden, the guys on the other, the other guys on the Brooklyn squad will get a bump up in usage as well. Guys like Joe Harris, Blake Griffin, Bruce Brown, Jeff Green, Elijah Johnson, Nicholas Claxton, and DeAndre Jordan. All of them become better plays as well. I'd say Joe Harris and Bruce Brown specifically, they're going to get a lot more shots. After putting up a big game last time out for Joe Harris, feel pretty confident in playing those guys if there is no James Harden. And then on the Charlotte side, there continues to be no LaMelo Ball. Malik Monk is listed as questionable. Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, Devontae Graham, all three going to be great plays in this one. Taking on this Brooklyn squad that is terrible defensively. Definitely going to continue to see these guys get a bunch of usage with there being no LaMelo Ball. So I do like them quite a bit. All three of them playing very well as of late. And then you got PJ Washington and Miles Bridges, who can also be playing in tournaments. Not quite as much as slam dunk plays. They're a little more inconsistent, but when they do have big games, it's going to pay off big time at the price tag because they're going to be lower owned than those other guys I mentioned. But those other guys are definitely the main candidates to be playing in this one. Golden State taking on Miami. This game right now comes in with a 220 over-under with a 2.5-point spread in favor of the Miami Heat. So not at the fastest pace in the game, but it is expected to stay close. Stephen Curry has returned. As far as his recent performance, he played 30 minutes, put up 51 DraftKings points. So welcome back, Stephen Curry. Great production there. And then if he can get up to, the mid-30s to 40 minutes in this one, he can definitely keep it going. Victor Oladipo is expected to make his debut Thursday. So, of course, the slate today. And if he does, which I do think he will, that's going to also cut into the usage of Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, all these guys on the Miami side, of course. So Tyler Hero, Goran Dragic, they do come off the bench. So I do think that they're going to be kind of unaffected, except for maybe minutes. It'll be interesting to see. But overall, he's definitely going to cut into the usage of some of these guys. But he is in his debut, and he's only 7.5. So maybe he's an intriguing play. But Jimmy Butler at 9K, I think, is the one that's really going to see the biggest hit. Priced up at 9K, I don't really feel the greatest about playing him with Victor Oladipo debuting. And then on the Golden State side, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Kelly Oubre, Jordan Poole, these guys are all getting a bunch of minutes and a bunch of usage, with it being those Stephen Curry. Now that Stephen Curry is back, I think the story is going to change a little bit, especially for Jordan Poole. The guy played 18 minutes last time out. He's not going to get the same usage, and he's still priced up to 6.3, so he's an easy fade. Kelly Oubre, Andrew Wiggins would be my favorite ones outside of Stephen Curry, because I think Draymond Green is going to continue to be affected by James Wiseman's minutes. So while he's a decent play, I'd much rather go to those other guys as discussed. Orlando taking on New Orleans. This game right now comes in with a 222.5 over-under with a 10.5-point spread in favor of the New Orleans Pelicans. Zion Williams is listed as questionable in this one. He was diagnosed with a sprained right thumb. So just keep an eye on that one. It wouldn't surprise me if they decide to sit him in this one after Orlando just shipped off their whole team. I think that the Pelicans could feel pretty confident playing without him. And then Lonzo Ball continues to be listed as questionable as well. So keep an eye on that one. If Lonzo Ball is out, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Josh Hart get big bumps. If Zion Williamson's out, still Josh Hart, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I think will get more run and more usage as well. And then, of course, Brandon Ingram at 7.8 will probably get the biggest bump. And I do think that he's a little underpriced, especially if there is no Zion Williamson in this one. So he does make a lot of sense to me, for sure. And yeah, that's what I'd be looking to on the New Orleans side, honestly. Eric Bledsoe as well. If there's no Zion Williamson, I think he gets a big bump up in usage. So Eric Bledsoe, and then Steven Adams will get more rebounding opportunity as well. So all around, really, all these guys are going to become better plays. And then on the Orlando side, they do get a great matchup taking on this Pelican squad. Terrence Ross, Michael Carter-Williams, Okeke, Dwayne Bacon, all these guys are going to get a big run on this team. All do make sense in this one for sure, because you can't get a much better matchup. It's going to be a pace-up game in this one. And then you got Otto Porter Jr. and Wendell Carter Jr. As far as their minutes are concerned, slowly but surely making their way into the rotation, but still kind of a little bit underwhelming. Playing like 20 minutes a game. So, yeah. Overall, Michael Carter-Williams is probably my favorite play on that side, just being that he's the point guard. He's getting a lot of minutes. He does make a lot of sense in tournaments. Atlanta taking on San Antonio. This game right now comes in with a 1.5-point spread in favor of the San Antonio Spurs. Trae Young comes in at 9.4. That's what I was getting at. Highest priced superstar in this game. And as far as his recent production, he's been doing pretty well. He has been priced up to 9.4 again. He was priced at like 9K. Put up 47 DraftKings points last time out. And this team is starting to get really healthy. Lou Williams, the new acquisition, could possibly make his debut in this one. DeAndre Hunter is listed as questionable. He could possibly be back. So if that's the case, I think we're going to see this Atlanta side get a little bit cluttered in the rotation. And the same rule applies for the San Antonio side. We've already kind of seen it. DeMar DeRozan, DeJounte Murray, Derek White, Jakob Poeltl, Keldon Johnson, Lonnie Walker, if he's back, that's going to add another body in the mix. Rudy Gay, Patty Mills. So really just looking to pay up for the studs in this one. DeMar DeRozan at 7.6 against Atlanta, not a good defensive team. So I do think that he makes a lot of sense on this slate today. And then DeJounte Murray at 7.1. That continues to be a good play as well. There is no John Collins in this one, I will say, on the Atlanta side. So that's going to give a big bump up to Clint Capella and the rebounding upside and just responsibility. So I do think I'm going to like him a lot more than I typically would. And I also do think that Gallinari and Bogdanovich could see more minutes and more usage with there being no John Collins in this one. So both of them are very intriguing plays as well. Denver taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. Last game on the slate. Nikola Jokic at the top at a 10.6 price tag, a 2.5-point spread in favor of the Denver Nuggets. And Nikola Jokic putting up 1.66 DK points per minute. Absolute fantasy beast out there. And there is no Paul George in this one. So that's going to make Kawhi Leonard a great play at 9.3. We have some really good opportunities with guys being out in the slate, I think. James Harden being out for the Nets. We have Paul George out for the Clippers. And then also the Zion Williamson news to follow and possibly Bradley Beal. So some really good usage bump opportunities on this slate. Kawhi Leonard falls into that category as well at 9.3. Really excited for that. The fact that we can just kind of slot these guys in and feel real confident about it. So Kawhi Leonard, a tremendous play. Nikola Jokic at 10.6 continues to be a great play as well as a run back option. Whether his usage is really going to take a hit with Aaron Gordon joining the team is interesting. I'm kind of keeping an eye on Aaron Gordon and his impact on this team overall. So far, he hasn't really had much production, but he is another body in the rotation. Guys like Will Barton and Michael Porter Jr., I was mostly concerned about him really limiting their upside. And looking at their last few games, Michael Porter Jr. doesn't seem to be as affected as Will Barton is. With Michael Porter Jr. having some really big games recently, Will Barton not kind of really doing much. So, yeah, just keep an eye there as far as how that's affecting the rotation. Marcus Morris Sr. is listed as questionable on the Clippers side, and then you have Serge Ibaka listed as out, Patrick Beverley listed as out, Rajon Rondo listed as out. So guys like Terrence Mann, Nicholas Batum, Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard are also going to be very intriguing plays, and guys that I'm definitely going to be interested in on this slate. So definitely some value to be had in this last game on the Clippers side. And with that being said, that's my overall breakdown of this 7-game slate. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be Kyrie Irving at this 9.8 price tag. Take it on the Charlotte squad that has not been good defensively at all so far on the season, and with no over-under currently released, I do think this game is going to come in with a very high total. Once again, the Charlotte defense does not scare me. I think that Kyrie Irving is going to have a huge game here. I do anticipate James Harden taking a seat in this one, and if he does, I think it's Kyrie Irving time. It's time for him to go off. Tons of upside to offer in this matchup, and Kyrie Irving is my lock of the night. So there you have it, guys. Kyrie Irving, get him in your lineups, and that is all for me in this one. If you enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, I would greatly appreciate that. And then don't forget to check out all of my DFS packages linked below in the description. MLB starting up, I will also be covering MLB, so check those videos out on the channel. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.